Welcome to the Insomnia Project. Sit back, relax, and listen as we have a calm conversation, a soothing conversation, a gentle conversation meant to help glide you into a place where you might drift off. Thank you for joining us. I'm your host, Marco Timpano.
I'm Amanda Barker. I'm drinking, I don't know if you call it a soda or a pop, but anyways, I'm drinking right now. And on the tab of the can, I think it says ha ha.
Ha ha.
Look at that.
Oh yeah, it does.
That's weird. Why would it say that?
I don't know.
What are you trying to do?
Just get you a little bit closer to the mic. You were looking down and you were looking around.
I know.
Okay.
But you, okay.
Yeah, I'm just trying to make sure the mic
Did
is
you get
right.
that stomach noise?
No, I
it's
didn't.
Nice
I
and
didn't.
close.
This is the last episode for this season, season 9, Amanda. Season 9's been a challenging season for us. I was not feeling great. There was a lot going on, so our episodes didn't come out as consistent as we would like. Consistently.
Yeah.
Well, you can't say consistent?
Not when you're using it as an adverb.
Okay. Well.
It's modifying the action of coming out.
Okay, so the consistency wasn't there. Is that fair?
No, yeah.
Okay.
That's the word as a noun.
Okay, so there you go. And that's grammar time here on the Insomnia Project.
Stay tuned. It's going to get even better.
Well, Amanda, you might be correcting me, but I'm going to correct you in just a second.
Oh, that's fun.
So
he has a fun look in his eyes, everybody. And I was just thinking his voice sounded different to me tonight.
Well, I was a little bit excited because
is that what it was?
I received a message from one of our listeners, if I can find it. It's here somewhere, but I'll get to it in a moment. But in the meantime, what would you like to say to our listeners on the last episode for this season?
I don't know. I feel like you have a bit of a frenetic energy. It's not kind of what I was hoping for. I was hoping to kind of glide into this, for us to feel good about it. I was distracted by the tab of my pop can speaking to me, and then a weird voice thing you were doing that I didn't understand, and now you're searching through your phone. Did you find you're going to bomb me with this insult?
No, it's not an insult at all.
Correction.
It's a correction. I also have caramel in the oven.
It's Great British Bake Off in our kitchen tonight.
I know.
Including a very smoky situation, but that was because of me, because some butter fell to the bottom of the oven. And folks, it made a lot of smoke. And Marco went upstairs to take a relaxing bath, and I said, oh, give me another 10, 15 minutes. I'll be finished dinner. And I was really excited about what I was making for dinner. I was frying chickpeas, which I've never done. And they were coming out really good. And
so tasty.
Yeah, coming out really goodly. I'm using good as anyway, I don't know. Now I'm getting lost in my own grammar rules, which I don't really pay attention to. But anyway, I thought, I'll put some naan in. I'll put some butter on the naan and some garlic on the naan. And then the butter fell to the bottom of the oven, and then a lot of smoke happened, and the smoke alarm. And this is not relaxing. But anyway, Marco was taking a bath, and then I had to laugh because then our smoke alarm talks.
Yeah, it's a little bit odd.
It'll warn you that it's going to be loud. It sort of like gives you a trigger warning, and then it continues to tell you in a very calm voice why it's being so loud.
Yes, and then I had to get out of the bath.
Like a woman's voice. It has a woman's voice.
Mm-hmm. And I had to get out of the bath and wave my towel around it.
Like it was like you're at a hockey game, only completely naked.
All right. I don't think they need to know all that.
Well, you got out of the bath. One can imagine.
So, speaking of one can imagine,
here we go.
You might remember that Diane NB left a wonderful review of our podcast, and we were talking about it. And remember what you said about NB?
New Brunswick?
Right.
And?
Well, before I get into that, if you'd like to leave us a 5-star review, we'd really appreciate it, of course. If you haven't already, please do so. It certainly helps our podcast. So
we would love it. And then we'll talk about you in a good way.
Yeah. So regarding the penultimate episode, Diane says.
Oh, no. Here it comes.
Diane NB is from Quebec, not New Brunswick, but she has visited.
Okay.
And then she has an emoji of like a concerned face and then one that's laughing so much that it's crying.
Oh, no, concerned face.
No, I don't know if it's concerned face. It's that face. Maybe it's a quizzical face. Is that a quizzical face?
I can't see anything. No, that's a winking face.
Oh, it's a winking face. Okay.
But I can't see anything.
A concerned wink.
Yeah, okay.
All right, so there you go. So
that's how they wink in Quebec.
That's
like,
how
are you sure you want to be in on this joke?
there you go. So I wanted to report that.
Oh, okay. All right. I was really on a bit of an offensive there. Going, you had that look in your eye like, I can't wait to show you something. I'm like, oh no, and he's going to do a gotcha on the air, Insomnia Project style.
Well, that's as good as it gets on a calm conversation.
Though I don't know, the milk bag controversy of 2024
Let's not bring that up.
was big.
That's a season 9 thing I want to just put behind us.
All right.
But what we did do on Sunday was for our friend Trevor Martin, who's a friend of the show, we went foraging for mushrooms.
This is true.
And we were going to talk about it on today's episode.
I didn't know that, but it makes perfect sense.
We had mentioned it on the last episode.
Did we?
Yeah,
I don't remember anything.
I know. But anyway, so we got up very early.
Yeah.
We got picked up by our good friends.
Yeah, that was nice because it was quite a drive. And so they're like, we'll come and we'll pick you up at 7. So that's nice when you have a outing and they offered to drive and we did not fight them on that.
And then what was nice was the location for the mushroom foraging changed. So it bought us an hour.
It did, yeah.
So we were going to...
You don't know where these mushrooms are going to pop up.
No. And so we were now stationed closer to Stratford, Ontario.
And the where we were going to forage, of course, was really related to the weather. And so I think they do some pre-visits just to have a look to see what is likely growing at any given time. But it's really challenging for them to know.
We were going to start in this one area, and then if we needed to, we could move to Crown Land for more foraging.
And Marco and I had a big discussion of what does that actually mean, Crown Land. And I don't know that I'm still completely clear on that one.
So the way I understand it is Crown Land is land that's owned by the government, but that anyone can access. But it's not a public park or parkland. So if you wanted to hunt on that land, you could, but you can't hunt on public parkland.
I just figured all public land was Crown Land, but I think Crown Land. I think I said that weird, but I think I think you must be right.
Well, because where we went first was more of a park. It was donated by a family to the area.
And again, this is a Canadian, probably a Canadian-British thing, because obviously Crown.
Right, of course.
Mean, why would you call it Crown Land, you know?
Right.
But, I mean, it feels like a bit of an antiquated term here.
It certainly is. That said...
I don't think King Charles is going to be like...
Why are you picking mushrooms on my land?
It would be great. Can you imagine if we ran into Charles and Camilla foraging 2 hours outside of Toronto?
I think they'd be happy. Charles is
I feel like they would absolutely be mushroom foragers.
Yeah.
I feel like she would have like those, you know, she wears a lot of like, well,
hats.
In The Crown she did. The character of her wore a lot of, well, hats, yeah, but a lot of like dirty British clothes. Like,
oh, I didn't know what you were going to say.
No, but like the Queen, like they'll be like, let's go muck about,
yeah,
you know, like that kind of thing. And they'll wear like rubber galoshes, like those hunter rubber boots, and like, you know, because they like riding horses and cleaning up after horses and stuff. It
certainly seems they much prefer not to be in the formal royal wear as much as they prefer to be in
like in Scotland at Balmoral, right? Like they're up there and they're hunting and in the mud and the moors and all that. Like they love that. So I feel like Camilla and Charles would have been like really happy to go mushroom foraging.
Well, Charles is really into gardening and things, right?
And he's really into health and nature. Right.
So I think we had his permission. But the funny thing is we never ended up on Crown Land. We ended up in this.
I did not think we'd talk about with Charles and Camilla go mushroom foraging with us. I think it's a great topic.
So instead, we went to this area, which was a conservation area.
Yeah.
And we started to stroll in there.
It's like a public path that you hike, right? Nice hiking trail, really.
So we had a guide who was great. His name was Peter, And Peter looked like a mushroom forager.
That is really open to interpretation, what a mushroom forager would look like.
I'll tell you what a mushroom forager would look like.
Please do.
Like a professor of the forest, He had glasses. He had a cap.
That's a perfect way to
He
put
had a
it.
sensible backpack.
Yeah,
and
everything was sensible and good if it gets a little wet.
His shoes weren't going to slip.
Yeah.
He had just what he needed to forage for mushrooms.
And nothing more,
And
right?
nothing more. And so that's Peter in a nutshell. And Peter took our group, which was 4 of us plus about 15 other people who we did not know. So that was lovely too. And we went to the first patch of area under softwood pines.
And it was like a pine forest that was clearly it had been planted there because they were in neat rows.
Yeah, Peter had explained that it was once an area that was growing trees. So it was a tree
Tree farm?
A tree farm, yeah.
Hmm.
But they weren't all softwood. There was some hardwood too, and there was some deciduous trees as well. But we didn't go to those areas. We stuck mainly around the softwood pines.
The pines, yeah. And in amongst those pine needles, which was the forest floor, were mushrooms.
Yeah, and at first we couldn't find any. Remember, he's like, this area is not that great. And as we're walking away from that area, doesn't Marco say to Peter, hey, what's this? And I pull out a gray trick mushroom.
So they were the star of the day, gray trick mushrooms. And then it was a gray trick bonanza.
And I should say that gray trick is spelt Graitrich.
Is it?
Yeah, it is. It most certainly is.
I think it's Gray.
Garitrich.
I know that you gave me the wrong spelling.
I know for a fact it's the right spelling because both me and Trevor, or Trevor and I, were searching for it, and Trevor finally found it with that spelling.
Great, I'm looking.
And Amanda's verifying. So I found the first beautiful example of a gray trick mushroom.
So again, it's Gray, not I. You
No.
kept in Gray. Trich.
The sticky gray trick.
Yeah.
Okay, so I guess it is Gray. Trevor showed me Grai. Maybe it was a French spelling.
You guys kept saying Gray, and I kept saying I think it's a Y. And anyways, I found it with a Y. Sticky gray trick are the name of these mushrooms, and man, we found a lot of them.
They have a gray cap to it, but a very white underbelly.
Yeah, and you want them when they're white because obviously they'll turn if they've been there too long. And mushrooms are very in the moment, right? And that's one thing we were talking about. Like, it keeps you present. Like, they may not have been there a few days ago, and now they are. And then in another week, they're gone, you know? So you have to kind of find them, and they go where they go. I mean, you can have a mushroom farm, of course, but yeah. So we found great trick, but that's not all.
Amanda found a lot of funnel mushrooms.
Well, not a lot, a couple. Those are not to be eaten. We learned a lot about the ones you could eat and the ones you couldn't eat, of course. And he inspects everything before you leave to make sure that nobody's walking away with something that they shouldn't be eating. So some other mushrooms that we found were these things called turkey tails.
Oh, yes.
And they almost look like, the type of moss that kind of is a curly, light green moss that you just see on bark. It's like that a little bit, but soft and protruding and brown, and a mushroom. So it really does look like a turkey tail. It's sort of almost like a lace that on the bark that's growing in. You want to get it when it's really soft, and you can just peel it right off. It doesn't have a stem, so it's just the cap, and you can't eat it directly. But what you use it for is you could make a tea with it. You could use it. He said it's great in soup to thicken a broth or flavor a broth. So we got a bunch of those turkey tails. Then we came across...
They're the most medicinal mushroom one can find, or
and
the highly
apparently
pressed.
really good for lots of things for people who follow that. I don't want to give any medical advice, but...
Certainly make sure that if you do go foraging for mushrooms, that you have someone who is like a professor of the forest who can tell you what is what.
Dr. Mushroom. Can I keep All right, you look like, do you want to jump in here with
No,
other mushrooms you
I
found?
was just going to say that I will post photos of all these mushrooms we talk about on our
Okay.
Instagram. So you can follow us on our Instagram
Okay.
page.
I wanted to say that we also found velvet foot mushrooms. Those are beautiful. It was our friend's birthday, so we let him have our dose of them, and everybody was really lovely, making sure everyone got, because the great trick were you really went and foraged for them, and you could kind of take as many as you could find, and everyone had a ton.
And some people would call you over when they found some, because usually there was more around, and they said, help me look. And they were covered with pine needles, so you had to sort of brush them aside to get to the trick.
Very cool.
Yeah.
But these velvet foot were really beautiful. They're light brown, soft, and growing from old bark or dead bark
On the side,
on a tree.
On the actual tree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're beautiful mushrooms, and you use your knife to kind of get them off of the tree. But they do have a stem.
The other mushroom that we found was called shrimp of the woods.
Tell them about that.
So the shrimp of the wood mushroom is a mushroom that kind of looks almost like a truffle, like a very white truffle. Like it's kind of oblong. It's not mushroom shaped per se.
Could be like a little bulb, almost like a bulb.
Almost as if you had tiny shrimp and breaded them and fried them. The shape that would make is kind of the shape that the shrimp of the mushrooms look like.
To me, it looks like a plant bulb, like when you have a bunch of bulbs and you're planting some sort of plant in the fall.
Well,
that bright white.
That particular mushroom surrounds another mushroom.
A golden cap or something.
Yeah, it surrounds this mushroom and encapsulates it and sort of swallows that mushroom and becomes shrimp of the woods.
Now, we've all heard of hen of the woods. That's a very popular mushroom. Tell us about shrimp of the woods.
So shrimp of the woods is this white mushroom that grows on the surface of the ground. So you don't have to dig for it like you would a truffle. It's its own little thing.
But it's like a little ball that you find, and then you find a bunch of them.
Yeah, almost like a gold nugget. You know when you see people pan for gold nuggets? It kind of looks like that.
A white shrimpy nugget.
A white shrimpy nugget under pine needles. Yeah. And when you find one, there's usually all its friends around it.
And you kind of have to uncover it. Like you might see it sticking out, but at the same time, if you kind of loosen up the dirt around it, then you might really discover a bunch, which we did.
And supposedly it takes on the flavor much like a shrimp.
And it looks like a shrimp. See, what's interesting is he didn't say it tastes like a shrimp.
Oh.
He said they're only called shrimp of the woods because when you cut them, they're pink inside.
I see.
However, our friends fried it up with butter, and they maintain that it does, in fact, taste like a shrimp.
Or is it one of those things where people think it tastes like it, because of the name, you think it takes on, embodies that sort of flavor or characteristic?
Yeah, if I called it something else, would it take on something else? You know what else we had? Garlic. Was it called garlic mustard?
Garlic mustard.
And that was actually really good. Big leaves of it.
Mm-hmm.
And he showed it to us and said it's like a bitter green that you could eat, and we all kind of ate a leaf out of it. And
you definitely tasted garlic.
I would love to cook with that.
With a bit of peppery taste to it.
Yeah, it's really lovely.
And then I was on a mushroom bender, Amanda, because I found a bejeweled mushroom, which Peter said, when I said to him, I said, look at this. And it was a beautiful looking mushroom. And Peter said, that is a prized mushroom.
And what is it called?
The bejeweled.
It's called the jeweled something.
The speckled jeweled mushroom. I'll see. I think Trevor sent me the name of all the mushrooms.
And that looks like just a typical sort of white mushroom, a little longer than a mushroom you get at the grocery store, but a little longer and whiter, leaner, but with this sort of jeweled top. Very fascinating. There were a lot of really interesting things, and it really, it really kind of goes to show that just like a hike on a trail, I wouldn't have seen any of these things or even known what to look for. So it really does remind us that there's so much in the forest.
So much.
Our good friend Dale said, this is like forest bathing with a purpose. And I think that's a really apt description, like finding some sort of hobbyist or even culinary excuse to actually just allow yourself to have this beautiful walk in a forest that you might not otherwise have. And I actually think Peter's story is so interesting. So I wonder if I could share that.
Of course, gem-studded mushroom.
Gem-studded, yeah. We said bejeweled, like it's bedazzled. I like a bedazzled mushroom. So, Peter's story, and we can maybe tag him on some of those photos, Marco.
Sure.
If it's up to you.
The gem-studded puffball is actually what the mushroom is
Oh,
called.
and we did come across a lot of puffball mushrooms as well.
Or Lysopyrdon perlatum.
And those are really, puffball mushrooms are very interesting mushrooms because, again, like a typical button mushroom you'd get in the grocery store, but like huge, hyperbolized version of that almost.
And Trevor got an oyster mushroom. He got some wild oyster mushrooms.
Fall oyster mushrooms.
Fall oysters, yeah. There you go.
Which I guess is different than a typical oyster. I'm not really sure, but they were called fall oyster mushrooms. So lots of mushrooms in one hike.
Now,
we were out in that forest for about 3 hours. But of course we were digging and foraging. And foraging is more than digging, right? It's like gently uncovering brush and looking at the backs of bark and all of those things.
You were going to tell us Peter's story.
Yeah, I'd like to. So Peter had a very different career, and I don't know if we got what that was. But anyway, I'm going to go ahead and put him as like a crazy high-powered stockbroker in the corporate world. I don't really know what he was.
He ran a B&B is what he told me.
Well,
okay.
Corporate, high-powered.
B&B.
High stress. He was the Gordon Gekko of the bed and breakfast scene. Anyway, and in any event, he had a lot of land. And he started looking around on that land. Again, I'm going to do my own version of his story as I understand it.
Diane and B might know where that land is or was.
Why?
It was in the eastern townships
of Quebec.
There you go.
But I think he had another job, quite seriously, that wasn't the B&B. He lost that job, went through a lot of changes in his life that he was pretty open about in terms of his relationships and things like that.
Sure.
Just changes. And sort of felt like all he had was this land. And he was like, well, what can one do? I'm not working. And so he started foraging just out of his own interest, his own need even, started foraging his own land. And from that, started learning all about the different mushrooms. What can I eat? What isn't good? What's medicinal? What's poisonous, of course, all of those things, just going through it mushroom by mushroom, educating himself, being part of a mushroom community.
Plant by plant.
Yeah. And then, and all the plants as well. And so he started to get to know it. Well, other people wanted to be taken on this land and taken on tours of this land. So he started doing that at first for fun and then for a fee.
And this is when he moved to Stratford, is when he started doing this.
Yeah. So then he started charging people again, just a passion, a hobby, really. More and more people came. So then he started this foraging business. And now he's not even foraging on his own land. I mean, he probably still is. But he's out in all of these other, like we said, crown land, conservation areas, public trails, hikes, all these places, finding the same types of gems, quite literally, gem-studded mushrooms and other delights that he could find on his own land. And, of course, they change week to week, season to season. And so, it wasn't a very expensive. I mean, should I say how much it was?
You can say how much it was.
So it was $40 for each of us, which, for a lovely day and a wonderful hike.
And the experience, what a wonderful experience.
Yeah. Felt well worth it as far as we're concerned. But he's quite booked up. He has 15, 20 people, whatever it is, a pop. And I just think it's an extraordinary thing that he now just by his own curiosity and a little bit of elbow grease, I suppose, but his own curiosity, ultimately, he makes a living doing this. It's a lovely business.
He shares his knowledge.
He allows people to reinvest their, into the land and their appreciation for the land. He gets to be out there every day for a couple hours, just, searching for treasure in the forest with a bunch of really lovely people, hopefully.
It really was like treasure hunting because when you found the mushrooms, Amanda, it was such a fun little moment
Yeah, I just think it's wonderful. I just assumed he was a prof of like horticulture or something, and that this was just a side thing. And then I realized, no, he has other groups and other people, an assistant, and it's this whole business, really.
It's really quite marvelous, I have to say.
Out of just, you know, being poking around on some land. And I just think that's lovely. It just shows us that the world has gifts waiting if we want them, you know?
And you know, listeners, you're our gift. So thank you for being with us on this particular episode. Go out into the land, explore, forage, even if you don't collect anything, just see what's out there. And this is our last episode for the season, but none to worry. Starting December, we will have our holiday episodes. That's one episode for every day in December, Amanda. We're going to record newer episodes for that because we've been sort of using episodes from the past. You'll hear some of our treasures from the past, but you'll also hear some of our new episodes as well on the holiday episodes. Don't forget to leave us a 5-star review. Anything you want to leave our listeners with, Amanda?
Yeah, I believe this business is called Pucks. But what I'm going to do is we will tag it on the Instagram. And when I say we, I mean you will. Because I just can't figure it up. But Peter from Pucks Mushroom Foraging.
I'll see if I can find his web address, and then I'll put it on the show notes. So if anybody is in Ontario and they want to go mushroom hunting or
foraging. And once you forage with him for a year after that, you can send him a picture of any old mushroom that you find, and he will tell you what it is and if it's safe to eat. That's cool.
I'm excited to go for morels in the spring.
Yes, he went on a hike, folks. Now, how much would a morel mushroom be?
Listen, it's more than the price of gas. I'll say that.
Wow.
Morels,
like truffles, really.
Yeah, morels are highly and chanterelles and any L mushroom.
So he went, and they found morels in that forest where we were, and they found 200 of them in one go at one point. And then the next week they expected to find more, and they found like 20, but still, that's incredible.
So great. All right, till next time, we hope you find your treasures when you explore. And until next season, we hope you are able, during this season, to listen and sleep.